Some exciting stuff going on in the market today, especially if you happen to be an AT&T investor. Looks like we have Paul Singer, a large activist investor, taking a 3.2 billion with a B position in the stock, uh, which he goes on to say he thinks could be worth upwards of $60. I think this is pretty interesting for lots of different reasons. And stay with me. It always comes back to real estate for me. But in this case, we have, first off to talk about what is an activist investor, right? This is someone who puts their dollars to work in an environment where he or she believes something is undervalued, mismanaged, and they are out for themselves, right? To think this activist investor has the overall, stockholders' mind or employees, in their hearts, no, right? They are in this business to make money on their investment. Frankly, the stock went up 9 or 10%, which is just because it was announced and he wrote a letter to the board and all of that. So I think there's a couple of things to realize. First, activist investing has been around for a long time. It's gone by um, different things. There was a whole buyout boom with Michael Milken back in the day doing junk bonds and all of these things. And we could be going back to that route, right? The debt is so cheap right now and people are chasing yield. It is becoming increasingly easy to raise crazy amounts of money, right? $3.2 billion, I think in my mind at least, is a crazy amount of money. So I think there's going to be more of these going forward. I think they're, leveraged buyouts, and this is all stuff we've seen before. And I think we're going to see a lot of it again, right? They're the leverage buyout boom, junk bonds. It goes by lots of different names over different decades. But the reality is, debt is cheap, lots of money swashing around in the system, and there will be individuals who want to take a shot at something. So what does this mean for real estate? Kind of the same deal, right? Just a different asset class. There will be some people that appreciate undervalued assets and want to take a shot. Raising the money won't be hard. Um, but again, it's a lot easier to get out of a stock than it is to get out of a large commercial building or mixed use or something that could take years, right? Once you're committed in a real estate transaction, you're kind of committed, right? So interesting. I have to assume, this individual coming into AT&T is, looking to shake things up. I'm sure the CEO or chairman or whatever is not in a great headspace today. Although I'm sure they have a golden parachute and they'll be just fine no matter what. But at the end, again, reading his letter to the board, my guess is he pushes to break AT&T apart, right? Sort of buy by the foot, sell by the inch strategy. So, sell AT&T, Time Warner, right? The cable business, all of that. So, I think uh, I think this is just a sign of things to come. I think at the scale of 3.2 billion, there will be more of these going forward, where people are trying to take over old brands, shine them up, and sell them off in the markets again. So that's interesting. Apple's in the news for a couple of things. One really negative, and one that will be interesting to watch. Again, with my consumer-based mindset. First off, I saw something about some labor practices at their Foxconn facility. I don't pretend to know labor laws in China or anything of that nature. I do believe that Apple is a wonderful company who is motivated always to do the right thing. So I suspect if there was anything that was not okay, that they would address it immediately. They they won't let that stuff go on. Is my opinion. So when in doubt, at least in this case, I'm going to believe Apple and know that Apple is going to be doing the right thing. Again, that is my opinion. And then there's the big event tomorrow, Apple's iPhone announcement. So there's a couple of things that you just watch and you can see what the consumer is thinking, right? We've talked about Starbucks a couple of times, and if you had the ability to watch how many people are buying the $5 lattes or whatever, you could really get a feel for the economy just with that. They're big enough that you could see that and see what's happening. The other one is iPhones, right? it'll be interesting to watch the announcement and watch whenever they go on sale if there's lines out the door or if people just yawn. Because if you follow this channel, you know that I'm big on trying to figure out what a want versus need is. And if you already have an iPhone or a Samsung or whatever your tool of choice is, does the next one, is it really a need? Really? Like another $1,000 phone's a need versus a want? My suspicion is um, for most folks, right? Maybe if you've not had one for 4 generations or something, it's a need. But my guess for most folks is it'll want. So we're going to see how tapped out the consumers are, right? If whenever they start reporting the Apple numbers, and the next Apple 11 or whatever it is, we're going to find out, what the consumer is thinking. We're seeing signs again, right? I go back to that Pebble Beach car show, right? Art auctions and wine auctions, and the rich seem to be sitting on their wallet. And in a consumer-based economy, if the average consumer, you and I, sort of sit on our wallet, we could force a recession all by ourselves. So watching iPhone demand is going to be interesting for me. Another one I saw was Target. Target was revamping their loyalty program, basically, doing birthday rewards and personalized coupons and 1% back redeemed on purchases. They tested it out in a couple of markets. It seems to be working. Um, this is just again about knowing your consumer better, right? Knowing them enough to send them what's important to them, right? They just had a baby, send them diaper coupons versus something else. So using data is important, and to see that Target is doing that, and again using the communication vehicle of probably coupons on the phone and things of that nature is a good idea. They've got to get people to come to the store, right? That's what they have to do. And if a loyalty program incents people to come back to the store, the 1% off future purchases, they're doing the right things. And frankly, shame on you for not doing it earlier, because you have the data, or at least have the ability to ask for it. And if you can get somebody to come to a Target versus a Walmart, you should. Uh, Another one is looks like antitrust is really bearing down on both Google and Facebook. Uh, this is antitrust cases, just like way back in the day with big oil, they go on for a long time. Don't know how these are going to go, but it's going to be expensive. That much I know, for Google and Facebook to kind of, I don't know if fight the government is the right word. Work with the government maybe is a better word. But that does not sound like fun. Working on an antitrust case for these technologies. But again, they're just so ingrained. You can see why the government would be looking at them. So again, don't know the details, don't know where this will go, but it would be something to watch because it is so ingrained in our society today. And then the last thing, it looks like stocks are set after the whole choppy August to be once again back at the July highs, which I find interesting because if stocks are at kind of like for like, but bonds have gone from 2 to 1.5, there seems to be difference of an opinion, right? Um, the bond market is definitely signaling a slowdown. There's every belief in the world that the Fed's going to lower rates again next week. Manufacturing's in trouble, retail's in trouble, but yet stocks are up. Is this just a simple chasing yield and they're doing dividends and things of that nature? Have the machines taken over in the index funds and ETFs? I don't know. But if you've got nervous in August and with all the ups and downs, looks like you have another chance to get out if you wanted to. Because if the slowdown is coming, eventually this will roll over and the stock market will drop from here. So that's what I was watching today. I hope that made sense. Again, activist investor. What that really means to me is debt is cheap, and people with the track records, they can take on mountains of debt. In this case, $3.2 billion. Lots of companies are going to be, just like the leveraged buyout and junk bonds. Watching Apple iPhone announcement tomorrow, not for the technology, right? I'm not the stock person, but I'm going to see how exciting it is for consumers, because consumers pulling out their wallets to buy another $1,000 or $1,500 phone will be a sign that the consumer has more room to run. Target trying to get the consumers coming back, and then the stock market back at its July highs, sort of washing out the noise from August. I find interesting. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great day.